All right, Amir will wake up, gather his things, not wake anybody else unless they're up, and then he'll start putting out the fire.
Yeah, I'll be packing and doing morning stuff too.
I was on watch. I'm ready to roll.
I'm going to take a stroll downstairs and just have a peek around.
Yeah, I don't think we ever cleared the bottom. Or we didn't, search it. I think they only killed everything down there.
I'll go pound on a Doloman's door. Get up!
It's nothing interesting to be found downstairs. It's pretty clean.
Yep.
You do still have that nice bottle of wine, though.
Breakfast of Champions.
So once everybody's kind of assembled, I'll ask, is there anything else we want to do before we head up to the ruins again?
We didn't see anything especially interesting in the village when we walked in that we should look at beforehand. Just basically a normal village kind of in ruins.
Yeah, we looked for signs of survivors and found none, but we haven't searched the far northeast. We haven't searched the southwest at all.
We've been to the Smiths, and then what was the other one? The Millers.
I think, one, we have to clear it just to make sure that these are dealt with for the caravan's purposes. If they ever want to, come up here and establish a route. Two, we probably should check for survivors at some point, although it's pretty clear everybody's dead. So we can deal with the cleric first, I think.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's go get the cleric.
You have been up to the ruins before and looked around, but didn't find anything.
Yeah, it was probably covered in rock, I'm guessing. Assuming, we're making the assumption that they're the same castle we're talking about. We'll have to figure that part out still. Okay, we'll set out. So Mir will take front.
When we searched, we didn't really walk around and thoroughly search the place. We just kind of did a perception check of the area.
It was really over
from where we were standing. Yeah,
it's probably well headed.
Fitz wandered around a little bit.
Yeah, now that we know that it's the actual basement of the keep, we need to hit that big old pile of rocks.
So we'll head back up that way, Dor. I think probably hand on hilt. We're waiting more zombies to shuffle out at us, but head expediently up there.
Okay. The village is quiet. You don't see or hear anything moving. I assume instead of crossing the bridge, you guys sort of scramble up the slope and make your way directly north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a cool morning, but it looks like the weather's going to be clear. You can hear the falls dropping into the pond from out underneath the castle. Uneventful passage up the hill until you arrive at the ruins, all moss-covered and gross.
Spread out. Let's find this entrance. When Amir will start walking along the castle grounds until he can find what he thinks would be a logical location for a basement. Just start feeling along the stones, looking for something that's been covered up.
So, just north of where the path leaves off, there's a sort of a fallen tower. There's some columns that are fallen here and there. In the northeast corner, is the foundations of the old keep.
Gotcha. And you said it was basically gone, right? It's just rocks,
just
essentially.
Foundations, yeah. There's a bunch of trees and things growing up from inside and boulders strewn everywhere, but there's no actual building left.
point to the foundation. I think we should search there first.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool. I guess,
Uh,
should we roll investigation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a perception check and see if we can just find any rocks that don't look like the other rocks, like they've been recently piled. Try to narrow down the searcher.
Yeah, so dwarven senses ain't good for doing that too. The stone cunning to try to spot something that's more recent than other.
Yeah, might be. Okay. Logan, now that you know that there's something here, you very quickly find a pile of rock that doesn't look natural. And when you walk over to the ruins of the old keep, and it's through a bunch of brush, you do find
A zombie.
a zombie. There's a stone stairway leading down into open darkness. There's just a little bit of an opening built above it, like a small, it's not really a roof, but there's a small little cover built over some stairs that are now leading down. There were, at one point, it looks like, boulders piled up on top of it, but they've since been pushed out of the way and the stairs are exposed.
Oh boy. Silently signal to the rest of the party, wave them over without making a whole lot of noise.
All right.
Shoot an
Torgrim
arrow
clump.
at their feet or something.
Yeah, walk
Torgrim
over.
clumps over.
Yes.
Did you move the rocks already?
Nope.
Well, that's a bad sign.
Mm.
All the same, we have to search the cellar. They may have moved on, but we have to be certain.
I agree.
Yeah. Any preparation?
Well, we all have dark vision, don't we?
Yes.
Yep.
I meant, like, in terms of spells or anything. Sometimes people like to cast spells before they go jaunting down into places.
Most of my magic is focused on either curing or combat.
Okay. Do we want to use torches or should we walk through the dark?
Might be better to go in darkness for surprise.
If we set any traps, we may stumble right into them.
I say we make Fitz take the lead. Let him use his perception.
Yeah. Let's descend. We'll have to play it by ear, I guess, as we go. Let's descend with darkness first, and then if we think we need light, we can strike a torch.
What order are you guys going down in?
Amir will take the lead unless somebody tries to go in front of him. He won't stop either of the scouty characters from moving in front of him, but otherwise he'll try to keep in front of Adolman and Torgrim.
I'll go second.
Dolan will gladly stay with Mir in the lead.
I'll take up the rear.
Okay.
This is the dungeon part of Dungeons and Dragons. Let's hope it's also not the dragon part. Terrifying.
Okay. It is absolutely black down here. Of course, all of you have dark vision, so you can still see. The walls are maybe 7 feet apart from each other, so it's a relatively narrow passageway, but certainly enough for a man and a little space next to him. The ceilings are about 10 feet high. There, you can see on the walls, there used to be, can't tell whether it's paint or like mural on the walls as you descend down here, but it's long since gone away. There's water running down in several places you can see along the walls. You can hear dripping from farther down in front of you. The ceiling's about 10 feet high. The floor is stone, but the floor is mossy and slick and wet. So you'll need to be careful if you want to move quickly. All in all, it looks like this place has been abandoned for a long time.
Yep. No signs of recent passage, I'm assuming.
Not that you can see.
I'll peek around the corner down the hallway and do perception check just to see what's down there.
You see several passageways opening from this one at various points down the hall before your vision gives out to the darkness.
Is that a passage right across from us?
Yes.
Jump back to the company. Lots of doorways, lots of blind corners. We should be very careful. Footings not stable. Caution. Alright, I guess I'm gonna do this.
It should be very methodical and make sure that there's nothing behind us in case we need to get out of here in a hurry.
Okay, Mir will move there. Look into this first passage.
So this is a fairly large chamber, but there's a big pile of rubble that you can see that's fallen in the middle of the room. When you look in, you can see the little eyes of rats blinking back at you from the darkness. It seems fairly empty, other than the rubble. There is, from the far side of this room that you can hear very faintly, a faint whistling sound.
I grab Amir by the shoulder and remind him that the boys who had been out hunting had said that animals were acting strangely, so they may look like just like rats, but keep your guard up. Who knows what this thing can do?
I guess there's one thing I could probably do while we're waiting. Amir would probably try to figure out if the whistling was the sound of air passing through, like, underground. Is there a role I could do for that?
Perception. No, I guess perception would be to hear the whistling, and investigation would probably be to figure out what its source is. So I take that back, investigation.
Okay.
That is a very good roll. It sounds like just air blowing through cracks in the stone somewhere.
Noise is just passive.
I'd also like to point out, Fitz, that when you rolled to search the castle grounds last session, you rolled a 1.
Awesome.
Oh, snap.
Okay, well, I think we just advance and then we see who's not with us.
Wait, are there critical failures in this game if you roll a 1?
On an attack roll, there's no critical failures, but on an attack roll, if you roll a 1, you cannot hit on a 1. Like,
Okay.
even if you have plus 50 to attack or something, if you roll a 1, you miss. But that's it.
Amir will step forward into this room. Right about there. And just try to get a better look. Is there stuff blocking my vision? I guess if I don't.
Yeah, there's like a big boulder that blocks your vision of the rest of the room pretty well.
Any way to peek over it, or is it like kind of just taking?
It's pretty tall. If you look up, you can see a big gaping sort of blank space in the ceiling where this boulder literally just like fell out of the ceiling. But it's pretty high. It's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet high.
Get wrecked, dwarf.
Probably not the way forward. Collapsed room, it appears. Take a look if you want, Fitz.
Is a little bit of space like south of the boulder where you could maybe squeeze around next to the wall, but
yeah, that's not something Amir would do. So he's going to step back out to the hallway and be on guard. Fitz can check if he likes.
Hey, sorry I had to order lunch for my wife.
all good.
Fitz is deciding if he's going to squeeze behind a boulder at the moment. He haven't missed much else.
And you said we can't climb up over the boulder?
You might be able to climb over it.
All right. Acrobatics?
Not unless you can do flips over it. Probably athletics.
Okay.
Parkour.
Damn, my athletics is terrible.
Then do flips.
I guess I'll try climbing under it.
Okay, peek around the side of the boulder. This room is empty other than rubble and water and moss. But there is an opening on the other side of the room.
I'm going to go back to the group and just let them know what I've seen.
So you just convey that there's a passage?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Open question, do we want to go that hard way through the rock and down that passage, or do we want to continue down this main stairwell? Probably.
I think it would
Those
be better
guards.
to systematically clear this entire thing.
Hate to have something come out from behind us once we got deeper in.
Or see us all trying to squeeze through that crack under the rock to get out of here.
Sounds like a good way to die.
After you, my friend.
Okay. So go the boulder way.
Yeah. There's about 2 feet between the boulder and the wall, so you can, you gotta like turn your back to the wall, but you can squeeze through there without too much trouble.
Muir will go through first and then stand guard while other people do their thing if he's not immediately assaulted.
He is not immediately assaulted, although the whistling is louder.
I'm going to make a roll to determine if the floor or anything over here is unstable or where the whistling's coming from.
The floor seems solid, good solid stone. The whistling, it's hard to say. Somewhere beyond the next passage.
Okay. Just isn't like a crack in the floor we're standing on. Cool.
It's not a door that Torgrim is standing in front of, is it?
No, it's an open passageway. I'm assuming you haven't peeked around the corner yet.
No. Dolman, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Wappy, you have to move your figure. But yeah, I'll peek around the corner as well.
I'm watching the passage on the backside for you guys.
Okay. You want me to roll perception when I peek around corners like this door?
If you don't tell me you're looking for something specific, I'll just use your passive perception.
Yeah, I'm gonna peek around the corner and look for signs of like a trap or like somebody hanging out there in the corner.
Okay. The passageway runs fairly straight to another pile of boulders that's fallen into the hallway and blocked it completely. Where the ceiling has collapsed. There's another opening like across from you,
Interesting.
but you can't see too far down that way.
Step there and look down the hallway and look to see what is there.
You can see some broken furniture at the end of the hallway, rotted wood, dripping water.
Lean against the side of the stone and perception to see if I can hear any noises or sounds around the corners. I don't think that rolls. Let me try again.
No, but the whistling is definitely coming from the next room.
Okay. I'll look back. That whistling sounds up ahead. Probably a crack in the stone leading outside. Maybe a dead end we should investigate.
I agree.
What is that thing at the end of the hall?
Broken furniture, pile of wood.
Okay, it looked like a kobold on my screen. Just making sure.
That's dwarf paranoia for you. Seeing kobolds and goblins everywhere.
Kobolds in the trees.
Kobold. I see them everywhere. Okay, I'll look back. Who's right behind me? Fitz?
Yeah.
Fitz, look ahead and see if you can see anything that may look like some sort of ambush or trap. My eyes aren't exactly perfect. And I'll make room for him to kind of do a check down the hall too.
That'd be perception.
Hmm.
Looking for anything out of the ordinary.
I think you have to like say what you're looking for, typically with perception. So in this case, probably traps.
Yeah.
You are a thief, Fitz. Congrats.
You peer down the hallway. The floor looks nice and solid stone. The walls are dirty, but nothing out of the ordinary. broken furniture at the end of the hall that you can see.
Other than being a dump, it looks fine.
Right.
You do hear from the south somewhere, beyond the boulders, Fitz, a very faint sound of movement. Far away somewhere, echoing.
Perhaps this place is abandoned after all, I'll say.
You peeking around that corner.
Yeah.
There's a lot of broken wood in this room. Doesn't smell great. It looks like this might have once been a barracks room. In the northwest corner, a huge part of the ceiling has fallen down. And it's from somewhere above that in the darkness that you hear the whistling.
It's like a collapsed room, perhaps a barracks. Dead end. I think we should check it. Or should we move on?
We might as well give it a once over.
Okay, Amir takes a deep breath and lets it out slowly. Sword and shield in hand, steps around the corner and steps forward into the room right here.
Okay. Nothing moves.
Gonna
Whistling from the sort of dark hole in the ceiling.
not shout back, but say backwards. It's clear.
Pass it down the line. Clear.
Maybe we'll move up here in the center of the room. I'll stay vigilant for anything that's trying to like sneak up or like jump out at us. I'll just roll perception to like see if anything's hiding in here, waiting to ambush us, while other people filter in.
So you listen intently and peer into the darkness above the collapsed ceiling. A swarm of bats flies down into the room. You can hear them sort of screaming and making sounds around your head, and they fly down the corridor. Adolman, as you're
Just my,
standing there in the corridor, you sort of look down the hall, and just a bunch of bats fly past you.
Oh boy.
Wappa, they fly past you and out the door. A few of them are stragglers and sort of fly around the ceiling, making high-pitched noises before finding their way out.
Creepy.
Let's give this room a once over, Fitz. See what we can find here before we move on.
I'll look to see if I can notice anything that's like sticking out, like under the rubble.
Okay. This was definitely a place where people slept at one point. A lot of the broken furniture you can identify as once being a bed or table. All the cloth is long since rotted away. But there's nothing interesting or of value here. If there was, somebody carted it off a long time ago.
This dark spot over in the ceiling where the bats came from,
Mhm.
is it like a large area, or is it just kind of like, like you said the ceiling came in, but it is like, is it a huge section of it, or just part of like a little section of it?
It's a fairly big section. I mean, each of the squares on the ground is about 5 feet. So, the overall area of the section that fell out is maybe 10 by 15. And then it slopes upward into the ceiling. So at places it's fairly high. It's a lot of material.
Any light coming in through it?
No, none at all. However much fell in, it wasn't enough to expose all the way to the surface.
But that is where the whistling comes from.
Yeah, you can hear somewhere up there. There's a whistling sound, maybe some cracks somewhere where air is getting in from the surface. But it's just a big pile of mud and stone.
This is empty. We should move on.
Yeah, it looks like a dead end to me.
Right, let's regroup. So Amir wants to check out this collapse quarter before we move on, so I'll kind of shuffle down the hall and nod to the doorman as I walk past them. Let's make sure there's not a way to go further south here. I'll roll perception on the rocks just to see if there's a way to squeeze through or if it's a complete collapse.
You don't even need to roll for that. It's definitely a complete collapse. The ceiling is absolutely fallen in, and you can see it goes back for a ways. It's not like a short cave in. You can see over the top of the rocks that are directly in front of you. There's more piled up behind.
Tunnel's collapsed here. It's unstable. Let's head back to the main corridor.
Agreed.
I flick some bat dung off of a dolmen as I go by him.
The glamorous life of a bard.
And you have to go where the story is, right?
Alright, so this tunnel stretches down a ways, right, Dora, for the next passage, as far as we can tell.
Yes, quite a ways.
Before I head down to the next quarter, I'll kind of get down on one knee and look at the stones and look for signs of recent foot passages or anything that would indicate people walk this quarter.
Okay. There's so much water and moss and just junk on the ground, it's hard to tell.
Okay. I'll keep my sword and my shield at the ready, and I'll advance forward slowly. Are people following right behind me, or what do you guys do?
Yeah, we're right behind you.
I was waiting to move until I had room to get out there without standing on somebody.
As you move forward, you can see deeper into the room that it opens up into on the far end of the hall. Just a narrow piece of the room, but it looks empty. There's some water and stones on the floor. Before you get to that room, though, there are two passages that lead off on your right.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so I'll peek around the first one. Just make a quick scan, lean my back against the wall. Just lean out and look, and then lean back against the wall.
Okay. Empty.
Passage goes further down and looks like it turns, perhaps. So back to Fitz.
I think we should do a clean sweep, so after you.
I want to check the next room up first. It's so close. We risk having something sandwich us if we are half down the hall. Okay, I'll slide across the hallway quickly and lean against this wall, but try to peek around the next corner as well.
stairs lead down, maybe 6 or 7 feet down.
I'll hold my hand up for the party to hold and stay quiet. Amir just kind of takes in a deep breath, closes his eyes, and I'm going to try to listen against the wall, see if I can hear the sounds of movement or anything.
You, as well as Fitz and Logan, there's a faint shuffling sound from the room ahead of you. Not down the stairs, but straight south.
Okay, I'll pull back a little bit. Head over into this little hallway in motion for everybody to follow over.
Guessing the square there is just like some rock on the nothing I need to know about, right?
Yeah, just some rubble. That's exactly right. Fallen out of the wall. This place, due to all the water, is slowly disintegrating over time.
So I'll hold my finger over my mouth, indicating silence, and I'll whisper back to Fitz so he can pass it on. Not aware that they know yet, just because I was the one listening. There's something in the room down the hall, the way we were just at.
Let me go quietly around this corner and see if there's anything beyond. I'd hate for us to go into that southern room and have something climb behind us.
Not okay. I'll make it to the edge of this hallway and I'll peek around the next blind spot.
Okay.
Corridors and doorways, right? Door. What's that saying from the expense?
Shoot, I can't remember now. Doors and corners. It opens up into a room. There's a big patch of moss and mold on the floor. Water.
Okay, I'll motion for people to follow me and I'll step just at the edge of the room.
So this was once an armory. It's pretty clear there's old weapon racks piled along the walls. The wood all gone to rot. One rusty sword still holding in one. On the left-hand side, part of the wall has either caved in or somehow been broken open into more of a natural stone passageway into the rock.
Amir will move towards it and roll perception just to kind of look down the corridor and see what's in there. Make sure it's not some sort of creature.
Balls.
Yeah, it's just a natural stone cavern. Fairly small. Some rubble and stones littering the edges. And another passageway that goes north. This is all unworked stone.
What kind of stone is it?
Looks like this section is carved right out of the bedrock.
Interesting. I'm guessing Amir would know, like, it would take quite a bit of strength to do something like that.
Yes.
I'd like to investigate around this room.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Basically anything of value, being that it was an armory.
Mm-hmm. There's a rusty sword. Not much else. If this place held anything of value, some villager stole it hundreds of years ago.
I look backwards towards Fitz in the group. Something strong must have turned through the wall here. Can you take a look and tell me if you think anything stands out? I'll watch down the quarter.
I offer to stealth and look around the corner.
I look around and see whether Logan is actually with us or still out in the outer hall.
I'm in the outer hall. Keep and watch, make sure we don't get anything coming in behind us we can't escape.
You can still, Logan, hear faint sounds of movement coming from that southern room.
A cynic would say that Logan's best position to get out of here if something does come.
Yes, exactly.
Then I'll go back down to provide support as well, so that we've got at least two people if things start happening from both directions.
So Fitz, you're going into the cavern stealthily to explore?
Yeah, to see what's up that northern.
Yeah, stealth roll. Okay.
I think a Doloman should start playing some really loud music right about now. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, it branches. You see a little open area heading left and then another area heading sort of northeast.
I'm gonna wave to Amir to follow me, but stay a little bit back.
Okay. I'll walk up to the entrance, but not go into the room, so ruin his stealth.
Do I roll stealth again, or just continue?
No, you can keep using your same stealth roll.
This is super creepy.
You're gonna die for sure.
Fitz, as you're sort of peering into the northeast cavern, you hear a sound right from your left. And as you turn,
Kobolds.
Spiders. It's always spiders.